So the question is are African societies really patriarchal? As we hear this thing, Shona culture is a patriarchal culture, this culture is a patriarchal culture, we're used to this patriarchy. And I somehow don't think so. Based on the research that I've done, based on the things that I've seen, I feel that it's like patriarchy was inserted into something that was extremely not just respectful, but actually considered the woman, the female, the feminine, the goddess sacred. And one of the examples is just, GUSHUNGO, GUSHUNGO, inoreve.
GUSHUNGO, yeah, ndinoziva kuti mutupo, GUSHUNGO.
Oh, mutupo. Anything else about GUSHUNGO?
About GUSHUNGO, how I knew the term was through the late Robert Mugabe, our president. Our late president, yeah.
It was his totem?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
I
so
would
Mugabe...
hear GUSHUNGO, GUSHUNGO. That's how I knew the totem.
What this video is really the story of GUSHUNGO and the question of what does it truly mean? Somewhere along the way, there was this myth created that GUSHUNGO inoreva garwe, that there's something, that it means a crocodile, it's a symbol of a man's power and of a man's supremacy. And we hear the same story about Great Zimbabwe, that somehow the stone pillars at Great Zimbabwe are symbols of a man's power, a man's supremacy. And I think these are quite contemporary ideas. They might even be Christian, I don't know, But there's something about this insertion. Where in fact, I think the old culture that we are talking about is a culture that reveres women, that loves women. Doesn't just love women, but that considers that every human being has a woman living inside of them, that both men and women, we are also part of the goddess. Just like we are part of God, we are part of goddess, and that those two somehow are dancing together in this holy dance, and we are a part of that. GUSHUNGO inoreve.
Mutupo wedu unotiremei unoyera because tinoyera private parts emukadzi musilo uko
ndinganyeba handina zvandoziva specifically kuti zvore I just know kuti mutupo but not specifically kuti which animal or something. I don't know much about it.
Asi muri kuona private parts emukadzi. There's this part inonzi nechirungu tochiti clitoris. Clitoris inoreva kuti handi yakaprotruda kubuda saka kadzi akagara pasi pati yainono kumamavhu ndo saka yakanzi chinanja mavhu
ana mpwetete akadzi ana mpwetete varume vanonzi ana vanoyera gabwa chidawo chakadzi charume zvakasiyana
vakanodhirowa garwe pakanyorwa pamutupo wedu but if you come deeper nenyaya yacho kana zvanzi chasura chati bweke chinanja mavhu handioni zvichirelata negarwe because garwe ndere mvura hapana kana zvakare chiri hatisiye.
I think that patriarchy itself, it's a lie on so many levels.
I think it's very important to know that in the African culture, there was a lot of reverence to women, considering a lot of practices that are in the culture. I'll start with, when we talk about marriage ceremonies, there's actually a prize that goes to the mother and it's sacred.
Patriarchy is very complex. It doesn't just mean that, there's a man who rules and all of us women are oppressed or something like that. It also shows up in this very unpleasant phenomenon of women being very much against each other. And you'll see that sometimes. I mean, you'll see, for example, if there are women artists, the ones who criticize them and critique them and chase them away are women. Or you'll see that women somehow, they don't work with one another. You know, we're men, they're happy to work with one another, they support each other. And there you'll have women and they're somehow jealous of each other, or they say these things. And to me, when I see that, I see that the patriarchy is effective, because what it actually is meant to do, it is meant to put people against each other, where we are actually all supposed to be working together and supporting one another in our gifts. Because when there's a woman who feels that she can't express her gifts in this life because she's constrained socially, then she's going to be jealous of women who can express their gifts in this life. And then she's going to feel like, why can she do it but I can't? And she'll work against her. And the same thing with mothers and daughters, because we see sometimes there are very complicated relationships between mothers and daughters. And the same thing, if a mother was raised maybe also in an older society, she was forced to do certain things, maybe forced to marry, forced to have kids she didn't want to have, forced to do work she didn't want to do. And then she sees she has a daughter who has other opportunities these days, and she says, but why should she have those opportunities, but I don't? So that bitterness and that jealousy is part of this patriarchal lie that we're hoping this year's Nyamatsatse is going to help unravel and going to help us all stand together, whether we are women, whether we are men.
Wanzi manyama.
Manyama.